Welcome to Digital Marketing for Contractors, a podcast for home improvement contractors to help you crush your lead goals and take your business to the next level. Join us each episode as we give you powerful insights and practical tips on the best digital marketing strategies to help you grow your home improvement business. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Digital Marketing for Contractors podcast. This is a podcast all about helping home improvement contractors to crush your lead goals and take your business to the next level. Digital Marketing for Contractors is hosted by Fat Cat Strategies. We are a digital marketing agency based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. My name is Don. I'm one of the account managers here at Fat Cat.
And I'm Janet. I am the founder and managing partner.
All right, Janet, today we have a really interesting topic. I think it is one that we hear from contractors a lot. And so I'm just going to throw this question out to you and let you react to it. Okay. If a contractor comes to you with the question and says, how long does it take for my website to rank on Google? Tell me what you're thinking.
Do you want my honest answer?
Yes, absolutely.
I guess my most honest answer is, dear contractor, longer than you want it to.
But yes. Okay, so we're trying to identify, common problem here, which is that contractors who are trying to get into the digital game are looking at Google search results and seeing that their business name isn't coming up or isn't coming up as high on the page as they would like it to. And they're trying to figure out, how long is it going to take for me to get my business bumped up to a better spot on the page? So that's what we want to talk about today and really just kind of take a deep dive into it's, for as simple of a question as it sounds, it's actually not a simple issue or problem at all. And so that's why we want to spend really a whole episode on kind of diving into what is this all about? What factors are involved? And even, is that a good question to be asking from the start?
Right.
So let's just kind of dive into that. Let's start with just the very basics. When we're talking about ranking, as the question kind of asks, like how long is it going to take my website to rank? What do we mean by ranking? What are we talking about?
Let's define the words in that sentence.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to rank? Let's take a term, painting contractors near me. It's called a keyword, which is confusing because it's more than one word. It is a search phrase or a query that someone would type into Google, either on their phone or on their desktop, and they're going to get a list of results. If you just simply take your finger and point at all of the results on the page that you're looking at and start at the top, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you are, 6 spots down the page, the simplest answer to this is that's what the word rank means. What position does your business show up on a search page for that question that someone asks Google? But here's where it gets more complicated.
Oh, yes.
And I have this conversation all the time with contractors. I see contractors not being able to tell the difference between a paid search result and what we call an organic search result. So if we're doing this really simple exercise and you type in painting contractors near me or roofing contractors near me, and then you take your finger and you point 1, 2, 3, 4, I guarantee you the first 3 to 4 results are paid results.
Yeah.
So if we start this episode with how long does it take for my website to rank, Don, you and I as digital marketers are going to make a leap and an assumption and assume that people are asking us a question about organic search results.
Yeah. And organic just it
means it's not a paid ad.
It's not paid. Or the term that we use marketing wise is SEO. So if you're familiar with that, like in terms of SEO rankings, that's another way of saying unpaid or organic. And it comes below the paid stuff for sure. And maybe even below some other things as well, depending on what you're searching for.
So if I would turn the question around to a contractor and say, what is your business goal? And if your number one goal is speed to get visibility, then you might also launch a paid campaign because that is the answer of if you want speed and you want to show up on the top spot for painting contractors near me, you can buy that ranking
Yeah.
and show up in a paid ad. I guarantee you're going to be spending more money than you want to spend, and you may not be ready for a paid search campaign because maybe your website's not set up yet to take that traffic. So that's just like the basic definition of what does it mean to rank. It's where is your business showing up relative to other search results for a specific question. So then, peeling the onion a little bit deeper, when a contractor says, well, how long will it take for my website to rank? Again, I will turn it around and ask more questions. And my first question is, what phrase are we talking
Right.
about?
Yeah. There's not just one ranking.
No, there's not just one. I mean, when we optimize and have a search engine marketing campaign, and I'm using those words deliberately, like search engine marketing, SEM, is the combination of SEO and PPC, just because you want people to find you. When we do those campaigns, we will often be targeting sometimes up to 30 different search phrases that include things like, bathroom contractors, walk-in tubs, zero entry showers.
Right. And your business is going to rank differently for each of those searches. Yeah. So you might rank number one for bathroom remodeler near me. But if somebody searches for shower replacement, you might rank number 12 because it's a totally different keyword.
Yes.
And, that ranking is based on what kind of content you have on your website. And if your website has really good content for one of those keywords, but not for the other, then your rankings are going to be really different for, those different searches.
So let's endeavor to actually answer the question that is the name of this podcast. Because so far we've just dodged it and said it's hard to answer.
It is hard to answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we don't dodge the question, my real answer, if I'm pressed and somebody says, Janet, you've got to tell me how long this will take, I will say 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
If you're talking about launching a campaign so that your contracting business will show up for a variety of different search terms, that campaign can take 3 to 6 months, even if you're also running paid ads and organic search. And then I will spin it again and say, so now I've given you an answer. How long does it take? But I will challenge you again to say, be really deliberate, Mr. and Mrs. Contractor, about what the goal is that you've set out to achieve.
Right.
Is your goal a vanity goal? Is your sister's ex-husband running a contracting business and he used to work for you and he screwed you over and he screwed over your sister and now he started his own business and you hate that guy?
All you want to do is beat them out.
All you want to do is beat him.
Yep.
And you can't stand it when you search on, roofing contractors or bathroom remodelers.
And their name comes up ahead of yours.
Comes up ahead of yours.
Yeah.
If that's your goal, I would politely suggest that might not be a business goal. That might be some other kind of goal. So what does a business goal look like that's measurable when we talk about rankings? Let's understand we're trying to optimize and rank for a whole collection of keywords. And if you obsess on like, oh my God, I was riding my truck and I searched on this one thing and we weren't number one, you're going to drive yourself insane.
Yeah.
What I would rather people focus on is breaking down this whole topic of how long does it take to rank and what am I doing online? I would rather break that down into a measurable business goal that can be tied to U.S. currency.
Yes.
And so what does that look like?
What's this going to cost in dollars? What's it going to make me in dollars?
Right.
Yeah.
And so let's work through an example. Let's say right now you do roofing and siding. And you get most of your siding leads from word of mouth, and you're really happy with the volume there. You've made a great reputation. You're as busy as you want to be, but you also do roofing, and you don't get enough leads word of mouth for roofing. I mean, this could be a ridiculous example, but I'm just trying to paint a real example here. So in order to get enough roofing leads, because you don't get them from word of mouth, you're currently buying them from Angie's List. And when you buy those leads from Angie's List, out of the gate, you're competing with 4 other contractors, and it's, just a competition to, how how fast can you go to the bottom
Yeah.
and be the cheapest? Because
Yeah.
that's what the homeowner is looking for if they found you on Angie's List. So your SEO goal that is tied to how long does it take my website to rank could be spun a different way to say, like, how fast can I as a business stop buying fewer Angie's List roofing leads?
Yeah.
And then now we've got something that we can measure in dollars because you know how much you spend on Angie's List. You know how many leads you get from them. So now you can talk to your internal team, or if you're trying to do this yourself, or you talk to your agency and say, okay, I need 15 good roofing leads a month if I'm going to stop buying them from Angie's List.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have a goal.
Now we have a goal, and now you can let your agency or your internal marketing department, you can kind of let them free, and they can experiment with all different kind of phrases. Roofing contractors, maybe they're going to try to optimize for a manufacturer's name like Certainteed, or a shingle color, or metal roofing, or whatever it is. And then you're not asking the question, why don't I rank for X?
Yeah.
Because that is a moving target that moves all the time. It can move on a daily basis. You can rank in the first spot for a search phrase on a Tuesday, and on a Thursday, you're number 3.
Be in a different place. Yeah.
And then next, 3 weeks from now, you're back up to 2, and 2 weeks from then, so it's a moving target that'll make you nuts.
Yeah. And even the very best digital marketers can't necessarily tell you why that is. A lot of that is Google's algorithm, which
They did something in secret.
yeah, and no one can predict. So, there's some things that go on there behind the scenes that, even the very best can't tell you exactly where you're going to end up on the page, because that's not something that can really be controlled by anyone other than Google.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm doing is I am totally hijacking the topic of this podcast, and instead of answering the question, how long does it take for my website to rank? Yes, we're answering that question. We're going to say it's 3 to 6 months. I am encouraging listeners to say, change the question that you're asking. Instead of going, how long will it take me to rank? Recognize that just ranking doesn't put $1 in your pocket.
Right.
Ranking, capturing a lead, converting the lead, running the appointment, and selling the job puts $1 in your pocket. So if ranking is a means to an end, you can stop obsessing on a specific keyword on a specific day, and instead you're measuring the total number of leads that your overall SEO campaign generated in a period of time, and how many of those leads were qualified and they turned into an appointment and turned into a sale.
Yeah.
And that is something that can be measured that doesn't, it doesn't move around on the map as much as rankings do.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Which are ephemeral. It's like chasing a ghost in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, as you said, like, not the best goal, even though it is the kind of the itch that we all seem to want to scratch. It's the surface level kind of felt need of, I can see what's going on there on that search results page, and I want it to change and be better. But it isn't necessarily the best way to think about how to make my business grow.
Yeah,
and
it's not the most strategic.
Yeah, that's what we want to help with. So, okay. So I like your answer though of, we think it's going to take about 3 to 6 months. And I'll add to that, it's going to take about 3 to 6 months if you're doing all the things right that need to help your rankings improve.
Correct.
And I want to spend a
what
little
are those
time,
things,
actually
Don?
talking about what those things are, because you touched on something that was really important, and we've covered this more in some other episodes, so we don't have to talk a whole lot about it today. But where you're ranking on the page is dependent on what part of the page you're talking about. So you mentioned, and as we've said before, there's at least 3 really big areas on a search results page where rankings matter. The first is at the top of the page and at the bottom, but what's especially important is at the top is the paid rankings. Then more towards the middle of the page, you've got the map pack, which is especially important for local contractors, because when you're searching for something that's local, you're going to get the Google map results that come up, and it will have some listings there where you can rank. And then below that, you get the organic SEO rankings. So PPC, Map Pack, SEO, and what you do to rank in each of those sections is a little different from each other. So it's not all the same things, but you need to be, if you want to rank in all those sections, you need to be doing all the things right for each of them in order to be able to rank well and rank quickly. You could publish a blog post that doesn't have the right keywords in it for what you want to rank for, and it doesn't, 3 to 6 months is going to be irrelevant. Like, you won't ever rank for the keywords you're wanting to rank for if the content you're putting up doesn't match what you're trying to accomplish.
So Don, you just used the word content. So let's break it down into its smallest, easiest to understand components.
Okay.
What is Google? Google is a tool that we all use to ask questions and get answers. How does Google present those answers to us? It uses computers and algorithms to systematically read content. What is content? Content is words. It's just, we speak English. For the purposes of this podcast, let's stick with English. They're English words. So when we're talking about ranking, your website has to have words on it. And those words have to match the words that homeowners are searching on.
That's right.
So if a homeowner is searching on roof repair, how do I repair my roof? What do I do about a leak? They might search on all kinds of things that might not be directly related. You might have a very one-to-one mentality of, I do roofing, siding, and gutters. But a homeowner might search on a question like, how do I get my siding color approved by my HOA?
Yeah.
That might be part of their decision journey. Or if you're talking about exterior painting, painting contractors approved by my HOA. I'm kind of riffing off of an HOA. So the point of
this, or just even something like, how much does it cost to paint the outside of my house?
Yeah, how much does it cost to paint the outside of my house? If your website has a page on it or a blog post that includes the words, how much does it cost? Then it becomes this matching game. Someone typed in, how much does it cost to paint my house? And then you have a blog post and Google's robots goes, oh, here's a list of words strung together in a particular order. And they are, how much does it? And then, oh, look, I found a blog post that has those exact same words in the exact same order. And through the magic of the internet, Google knows the location of where the homeowner is because they are either pinging a cell tower or they're on a home computer and they've got an IP address associated with their location. So Google goes, okay, this homeowner is in Topeka, Kansas, and they're asking about the cost to paint their house. Oh, look, I have a database of websites, and here's a bunch of them that also look like they're in Topeka, Kansas, and the phrase, how much does it cost to paint, matches. Bingo.
Yeah.
That's a search result.
Yeah, there you go. So, okay, so what you're describing then, I think, is the things that
content.
are, the most important for, if we're talking about those three sections, PPC, Map Pack, and SEO, what you're describing with content is the stuff that's really most important for SEO. That if we want to rank in those organic sections, we need to have the right kind of content on your website that's going to match what homeowners are searching for. And in particular, and this is a little bit newer, honestly, in the way that Google is doing some of their rankings, is that they're trying to say, how can we get the searcher an answer to their question as fast as possible? So they're really trying to aim for, if somebody types in, how much is it going to cost to, whatever your service is, how can they get that person the answer to their question in one click? How can we deliver them a page?
0 clicks.
Yeah, a page result that is exactly the answer to their question. And so you as a contractor really need to think about, how are you building out your, especially what are called your main service pages or your landing pages that talk about the things that you do, and that those pages really have the content that you're looking for in order for them to be, that homeowners are looking for in order to be able to rank. So if you're a painter and you've got a residential painting page on your website, that residential painting page needs to have answers to some of those kinds of questions that people are asking Google so that your page is going to show up in the rankings. That's the basic idea behind content. You really want to have that content in a place that people are actually going to be looking for it and that Google will send it to. Now, it's way more complex and kind of complicated than that, but that's at the basic level. If you want to show up in those SEO sections,
you've got to have words.
You got to have keywords and content that matches what people are searching for. Now, let's talk about in the PPC section up at the top. It's related.
What do you mean by PPC, Don?
Okay, so PPC means paid per click. That's the paid section, the ads section at the top of Google. If you look at the search results on a Google page, those first few are all going to have that little word ad next to it, usually on the left-hand side, that indicates to you this result is paid.
Also called paid search.
That's right. And so if you want to show up there, which is usually the best place to show up because it's at the top of the page, you're going to have to not only pay for it, right? It's a paid search. So you're going to have to spend money on ads to be able to get your ads to show up in that section. But it's not just as simple as let me throw a bunch of money at Google and I can show up in that top spot. Because keep in mind what we just said about SEO, Google wants to try to get answers to people very quickly. And so they're still playing the same game in that paid section that they're playing in the SEO section, which is if somebody clicks on this ad, are they going to get the answer to their question? And if they're not, it doesn't matter how much money you're throwing at Google, they're still not going to show your ad. So your content still has to be really good in the sense that you're providing the answers that people are looking for when they're doing their searches. So if your content is good and your money is there, then you'll show up and rank in the paid section.
Right. So let me just riff off of that for a second and give an example. Let's say you do stucco remediation.
Okay.
And you want more stucco remediation jobs. You may just sign up for Google Ads on your own and throw in a bunch of keywords that have something to do with stucco and then point all of the ads to the homepage of your website. But the homepage of your website doesn't even have the word stucco on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anything about stucco. It says, like, maybe you are a siding contractor and, you know, everything about your homepage says stuff about siding. You might not have any content on your website that talks about stucco, but you went to a conference and somebody told you, hey man, stucco remediation is where it's at.
Yeah.
So you threw out an ad. The keyword for the ad said stucco remediation. The title for the ad said something about stucco. If you think about picturing search results, there's the title that's blue with a line under it that you can click on. And then there's a little blurb that's usually about 12 words long underneath it.
Yeah.
So, you've got this like 3-step journey. Someone types in some words in the search bar and then they're given a list of things to click on. And when you break down the ad, the thing you click on is the title and then the little blurb underneath it is the description. If somebody types in stucco and your ad says stucco and the description says stucco, but you link that ad to a page that doesn't have anything about stucco, Google's algorithm will say, sir, what you have is a low quality ad.
Yeah.
And because Google wants to give people using Google a good experience, if your experience on the internet is to search on stucco remediation or amusement parks near me. And every time you click on an ad, it has nothing about amusement parks. That's a bad experience. And overall, all of us will start to see Google as not very useful.
Right.
Because we searched on a thing and we clicked on a thing and it didn't have that thing in it.
Didn't help us. Yeah.
It didn't help us. So if you break it down into its most simple components, you have to present on your website something that matches the search intent of what someone searched on.
Yeah. So if they're searching for stucco remediation, you need to be pointing them to a page on your website that actually answers questions about stucco remediation. And if your homepage doesn't do that, then don't send them to your homepage. Send them to a different page on your site and make sure that your ad is pointing to those pages. So
and to tie it back to the topic that we're talking about, how long does it take for my website to rank? We'll just continue to beat this dead horse of stucco remediation. If you're one of our clients and you come to us and go, I'm still not ranking for stucco remediation, and over the past 3 months, we've presented to you multiple ideas of blog posts and page updates and website updates where we keep telling you, we need to put something about stucco on your website. And you keep going, I'm busy. I don't have time to respond to these people. But then you come back and you're like, I'm paying these guys and we're still not ranking for stucco. Our answer to you is you still don't have anything on stucco about on your website.
Yep.
Like, it has to be there. The words have to be there.
They have to be there. Okay, so we've talked about SEO, where content is king. We've talked about PPC, that's at the top of the page, the paid ads, where the content is still important and you have to have the money to go along with it. So those two things matter. Let's talk about, to kind of finish this one off, let's talk about that third section, which is the map pack, the Google Maps results, because what you need to rank there is actually a little different than what you need for the other two, because the map pack is actually based on not your website, but on your Google business profile. Now, it does factor in your website some. So I don't want to say, explicitly it's only about the Google business profile, but more than the other sections, it heavily weighs how your Google business profile looks and if people are clicking it and using it. So just as a refresher, let's tell everybody, what is your Google business profile?
Your Google business profile, I've tried a bunch of different ways to explain this. Think of it like a directory that Google maintains. Maybe if you're older like me, it's the yellow pages. It's the business directory of businesses.
Yeah.
Just to be redundant.
Yeah.
And so it's not the same thing. You, as a business owner, you can claim your business listing with Google. You say, my business is, Joe's Hot Dogs on Main Street. Well, that has an address. It has a name. You're selling hot dogs. You claim Joe's Hot Dogs with a verified phone number and a verified address, and you say you sell hot dogs. That becomes your business listing, and that is how you show up on the map.
That's right. Yeah. And so if I go on a desktop and I search my own business name, that Google business profile is going to show up over on the right side of the page. If I'm searching on a phone, it's probably the first thing that shows up on the search results. So it's Google's own way of describing your business, and it isn't your website.
It's different from your website, but it links to your website.
That's right.
If you set it up the right way.
But it's also the place where your Google ratings and reviews live. And that's why it's really important to the map pack, is because in the map results area, you see all the different businesses listed that match the search term that someone typed in, and you get to see where they are on the map and how many ratings and reviews they have and what star quality all those ratings are. So you can see ABC Siding, that's right down the road from me, only has a 2.5 star ranking, but across town there's Eastside Roofers and they've got a 4.5 star rating, and maybe they're not right next door, but their rating looks a lot better, and so they may rank higher in the map pack than you will because their Google ranking is better. Their star rating on Google is better than what yours is. And that's why that starts to matter in some ways that aren't true to the SEO and PPC section.
Right. So diving a little bit deeper into map results. So again, we're really hammering home this Google business profile. Let's say you wanted to show up in the map for Pella windows or Provia doors. Then if we go back to earlier and say, you have to play the matching game and make the words match. Then you need to claim your Google business profile, log into your Google business profile, and add some details to your Google business profile that includes the words Pella and Provia.
That's right.
And there's a couple of different places you can do that. You can do it in a Q&A pair. You can post like these little micro updates, almost like a social media post. You just post content to your Google business profile where you can say like, oh, we're so happy that we just installed Mr. Jones Provia doors and Pella windows. Well, now the word Provia and the word Pella are associated with your Google business profile, which also has a verified business address, which is a location on Earth. So if someone near that location on Earth is looking for Provia door contractors, now you match.
Now you match up. Yep.
And you're on the map.
Yep. And your rankings are hopefully good enough that you're going to show up higher than other companies that might have lower rankings, even if they're maybe geographically a little closer than you are. Right. So, yeah. Okay. So just as a brief recap, we've said there's 3 main sections there on the search results page: the paid section at the top, the map section in the middle, the SEO section that comes below that. And ranking for each of those things is a little different. In the SEO area, you really need great content. In the paid area, you need content and dollars. You're going to have to pay to be able to rank there. And then in the map area, you need really good Google Business Profile content and rankings to be able to show up high up in the map pack. So different things, all for different types of rankings. And that's why we've said it may take 3 to 6 months to be able to show up in the places that you want to show up, because as you can hear, there's just a lot involved. There's a lot that goes on to be able to show up in those places. And it isn't always a simple process. And never mind, we haven't even talked about on this episode that you've got other people who are trying to do the same thing. So you're competing against other people.
It's a bloodbath. Yeah. They're battling to knock you out of whatever position you might be.
Yeah, they're fighting for the same spots too. So it is difficult. It is complex. And hey, we recognize that. We understand that you might be listening to this episode and going, how in the world am I going to ever be able to accomplish that on my own? And the truth of the matter is that you might not be able to. You really might need some help in being able to make all this happen. And that's why we exist as a digital marketing agency, is to be able to try to help out contractors to do this effectively and to be experts in some things that you don't really need to have to be an expert in. And we want to be able to do that with you and for you as your partner. So if you're interested in that, if you would like to find out what more might be involved in how to get a customized digital marketing game plan for you and for your contractor business, we would love to help you out with that. If you want to go to fatcatstrategies.com/call, you can schedule a free call with us to just be able to talk about what are your business goals and what do you want to try to accomplish, and could we help you out with those things? We would love to give that a shot and be able to help evaluate with you if we would be a good match for your business and how to be able to help you crush your lead goals and take your business to the next level. Check it out at fatcatstrategies.com/call. That's it for today on Digital Marketing for Contractors. We've enjoyed talking to you, and we look forward to talking to you again the next time. We'll see you then. Digital Marketing for Contractors is created by Fat Cat Strategies. For more information, visit fatcatstrategies.com.